Hi class, welcome back to Module 2 of C++ programming class. In this session, we are going to talk about integrated development environment. More importantly, you are going to install yours. Some benefits of using IDE. So you've used the cpp.sh online compiler. It's nice actually to use it to check your syntax or a small piece of code to see if things are working before you put it in a big project. But for bigger projects, even if it's one page, if the page is really long, that tool is going to be, have limitations. If using IDE, there's a few benefits. Is color code for variables and reserved keywords, and it actually help you to open and close the curly braces, for example. And then it also has the autocomplete functionality, where if you declare a variable earlier, it will give you suggestions of, hey, is this the variable you are trying to use? And then also the access to code and the documentary of files that's maybe not even in your tool is going to be very helpful also. And then of course you can be in the zone and program without the need to be on the internet and be distracted. So I think most of you are using Windows machines. So I would recommend using Visual Studio. Of course, you're free to do anything as long as you can hand in your homework on time. I would, if you are deciding to use Visual Studio, install the community version, which is free. Of course, if you want to pay, feel free to. But this version is good enough for your programming assignments. And then when you go to the point where it asks you which workload to include, you can say desktop development with C++. I've included 2 links or for the instructions of how to install it. Nowadays installing is pretty easy. Everything is so much easier right now. Anyways, but if you run into problems, I actually later on will have some tips for you. Xcode and for Mac OS is what we are going to use. This video is only like 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. Very, very simple. Super easy, so do it. Alternatives. If you maybe don't have access to a Windows machine, you can install something on it, or a Mac machine. You can use the lab in the technology building. I believe most of them have this Xcode or the Visual Studio already installed in the machine, so you can use them to complete your lab assignments. Another option actually is AWS Cloud 9. You can get a free Linux image if you know how to use Linux, of course, but it requires a credit card. I tried to sign up for a student account. It didn't work for me because San Jose City College is not part of their program. Notice that you give them your credit card information. It means that if you use certain service, it will charge you. But I believe if you are just using this for the assignment, you won't have to. However, be careful when you test things out on other offerings functionality. Anyways, just don't want you to get a bill that you didn't expect. Or you can have a Linux system. So if you are choosing the letter 2 ways, and if you have questions, come talk to me. So now after you install the IDE, make sure that it's running, right? So that's what we are testing. So let's try to run a default program. So we will actually create a new Xcode project, and we would choose the command line tool to develop a C++ program. For the product name, I would say Hello World. That's usually the first program, yeah. And remember that you would choose the C++ as your language. And it will ask us where we are going to want to save it to. I would just create a new folder. Actually, how about let's all create a new folder in our documents directory. Let's say CIS 054. For me, is the demo. Okay, let's create it. And then, this might be a good practice to create a Git repository. We can talk about this later, but let's put it this way. So now the new project is created. And it's a hello world. And so let's just run the program. To run the program in Xcode is very simple. It's the Command R. And then it's supposed to print out something. I'm sure you know what it should be. So you see, hello world is running, so everything's working. I hope yours too, very as easily as mine. So I just want to make sure you can also set up, do some settings to make it more comfortable for you. For myself, I was thinking to set it up so that my background is a different color. So that's what and you can see that, now my background is darker. All right, let's see what's next. So if you encounter problems, first of all, if you got a problem after install, most likely other people have had the same experience. So with the error message, try to understand it, or if not, search on Google to see how other people solve it. This is actually part of the job of an engineer, is to try to figure out problem solving, try to figure it out on your own in a lot of ways. And then if you really couldn't figure it out, ask me for help, send me a message in inbox. Yeah. So we go to the next topic, program style. See you soon.